I think this is as much as a surprise for me as for you that I'm here. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, it's great to be here. Great to see you all here, and of course, it's always fantastic to be here in Shanghai. And yeah, so we had a kickoff for the Slush Shanghai event today. So very, very good that Mars and Lauri and everybody was there, and actually quite a few, you know, all the people wearing the Slush t-shirts were there as well. So Slush, like what the fuck, what is that? So it's actually very different from here. So we started Slush in 2008, so like 9 years ago in Helsinki, Finland. And it's very different. So if you come to Helsinki in November, it's not like here. It's cold, it's dark, there's slush on the ground. So anybody here know what slush is? Yeah, so you don't get that much in Shanghai. Beijing, you know, northern China, you get that. So it's like this, like, not so pleasant mixture of like snow and water and ice, and like it's actually like not amazing. So that's like slush. So Helsinki November, cold, dark, slush on the ground, not the Silicon Valley. Much, much better, because it's different. So with Slush, what we wanted to do something that is very, very different. So I don't know about you guys, but I've been to hundreds of events all over the planet, and they're always like the Silicon Valley of this, the Silicon Valley of that. I was in Beijing like last year, and then I was told that okay, Beijing will be the Silicon Valley of China. Then I got on a flight and got to Hangzhou, and then it was an Alibaba event, so then Jack Ma did a song, so he likes to sing. And after that, the mayor of Hangzhou told all of us that Hangzhou will be the Silicon Valley of China. And it's like, what's wrong with you people? I mean, like, can't you create something like original? Why don't you have to copy everything? And yeah, anyway, and actually, all of you who are here know that, like, outside of China, there's this like thing that people think that Chinese people copy everything. And yeah, that might be true, but actually all of us here know that that's only part of what's going on. I mean, actually China and what's going on here is actually leading the world in like many areas. You know, you look at, you know, WeChat, or you look at like WeChat Pay or Alipay or any of that. America is like 20 years behind. And it doesn't help that they have like this, I don't know how I should put it, but this not so intelligent guy running the country, but to be polite. So China is actually leading the world when it comes to many areas. Payments, AI, many innovations are actually happening here first. And then, you know, I was actually in Silicon Valley week before last. Well, no, actually last week. And then they're actually now launching these services where, you know, you can like actually share a bike. Have you heard about that? A bike. You know, like there's like bikes in the streets in Silicon Valley and you can share them. Have you heard about that? Yeah. These guys in Silicon Valley are copying everything. I'm like, what the fuck? Don't they have any like original ideas at all? You know, before you know it, probably like San Francisco, the streets will be full of bikes. And you know, yeah. Anyway, so everybody here knows that there's a few bikes in the streets of Shanghai and Beijing, and like any Chinese major city has bikes, and you can share them. So the point here being that innovation is happening anywhere, everywhere, lots of innovation. So it's not like Silicon Valley, it's not like only in Helsinki. Of course we're inventing everything before all of you guys in Helsinki, but I mean that's just the way it goes. So Finnish people, you know, we created Linux, MySQL, Angry Birds, you might have heard about that, or Nokia phones in the day. So, but yeah, after that then, you know, Silicon Valley, China, you get your fair share of innovation as well. So it's not just people in Finland and just people in Helsinki that invent everything. So it's actually like innovation is happening everywhere. I know I'm even getting like audio here. But yeah, so short story short. So whatever you do, think about like how can you do things differently. It's not do like what people in Helsinki are doing or the people in Silicon Valley or in Beijing or whatever. We can do stuff here in Shanghai that is different and it's better. So yeah, I could talk for hours, as the guys who know me know that that's not a problem. But I'll stop here because I'm like getting thirsty and I get back to my beer. But anyway, great to be here. I'll be here for few more hours or something like that, or at least until the beer runs out, or whatever happens first. But yeah, great to be here, and if anybody wants to have a chat about like anything, feel free, grab me. My me's to find, red hoodie. So that's how it goes. Thank you.
And it was actually the chairman of my one of the companies I work with, the Natural Step, which is a sustainability NGO. He had attended Singularity University in Silicon Valley. So before I continue, just to get a sense of the room here, how many are entrepreneurs? We have 1, 2, 3. 3 entrepreneurs in the room. Oh my God. 4. All right. 5. Mars. 6. And perhaps more. How many of you have heard of Singularity University? Nobody. Good, great audience, because then I have the chance of actually changing your mindset as well. So Singularity University was founded about 8 years ago, I think, by 2 guys, Ray Kurzweil, who is an inventor. He basically created the first flatbed scanner for medical purposes. He created a first reading machine for the blind. He created the first synthesizer to produce real natural sounding instrument sounds, and many other things. And he's an author of many books. One of the books is called The Singularity is Near. And this book talks about the research that he has done, looking at the exponential change of technology over time. And what he found was, and this is founded on the theory of Gordon Moore, who worked at Intel and who in the 1950s or 60s found that technology, especially IT, integrated circuits, are on a doubling pattern. So every 2.5 years you get twice as much price performance from your chip. It either shrinks, and this continues no matter the current sort of competitive situation in an industry, or whether there's a war or recession or whatever. It's a smooth progression. Every 2 to 3 years those technologies double in price performance. And then usually the result is an exponential growth in demand. And what is happening then is that Singularity University then started in order to teach entrepreneurs about these technologies and how to use them to grow their business exponentially, and at the same time have a positive impact on the planet. So the purpose, this is Google was part of the founding of the university, and Larry Page basically said at the founding conference that we will support this university if you're dedicated towards using these technologies to actually solve humanity's grand challenges of poverty, of education, of water, of the environment, etc., etc. And so for 8 years, this has been going on. About 20,000 people have gone through this. And what it's about is about creating an exponentially minded entrepreneur. Hello. And what does it then mean to think exponentially? Well, a common analogy is that if you take linear steps, and most executives, most business people are used to thinking linearly and forecasting based on that. So if you take 30 linear steps, you know that you're going to go from this stage to the back of the room. You can see where you're going. Whereas exponentially, if you take 30 exponential steps, does anyone have an idea of how far that would take you? No. It's very hard to forecast or to see. So 30 steps would actually bring you around the planet about 20 times. And you would have gone 1 billion meters or something like that. So that's the power of exponentials. And we're now seeing this exponential trend playing out in industry after industry based on a couple of technologies. And so those are 3D printing, robotics, drones, artificial intelligence, synthetic biology. So actually now biology has become a software. So we can design biological machines or effects. We can go in and program our bodies using CRISPR, which is a DNA splitting tool basically. And just this week we had the first trial on a human embryo, a human cell, to actually go in and cut those using CRISPR and actually remove the propensity of those cells to develop diseases. So this might actually cure a lot of things. And so thinking about the long-term effect of those exponential trends, that's what an exponential entrepreneur is doing. And what will it mean in the end? Well, it will mean that, take construction, for example. Today we're having hundreds of thousands or millions of people working in construction, assembling bricks or concrete or whatever. Right? We have 3D printers now that can actually 3D print an entire house in a matter of hours. We can possibly in the future program molecules to assemble in the order we want and actually grow buildings from the ground up. These are crazy things that a kid in the garage basically can do. So any industry now is being under attack. We're seeing Kodak that invented film photography going bankrupt, having thousands of them, tens of thousands of employees, and at the same time, what's it called? The app for posting pictures. Instagram. They had like 9 people at the time, and their market cap was higher than old Kodak. Because Kodak, even though they invented digital camera, did not materialize. It was too threatening for them and for their existing business to actually adopt. So they killed it, and then let somebody else invent it, right? And what happens then in an exponential world, you move the problem space. So it's all about creating abundance of things. Old economy companies, linear thinking, is about creating a scarcity and selling access to that scarcity at the high price. But when you think exponentially, if you have digital photography, no longer are you constrained to a camera roll of 20 pictures. Right? You used to be, you went on vacation and you took very few photos because you saved it for just the right moment, and then you went home and you developed it, you put it in a binder, you went back and looked at those photos. Today you take photos all the time at more or less zero marginal cost, but the problem space has shifted into storage and actually access. Now you have so many photos you don't know where they are, you don't know what they are. But when it jumps on the exponential curve, it moves to abundance, and abundance moves economically towards free and cheap. So what we're seeing is that any technology that jumps on this exponential curve, in the end moves towards more or less zero cost for the user. And this is radically disrupting business models. What do you think will happen when self-driving Tesla cars are on the road? No longer will you need taxis, you don't need drivers, and you don't need car ownership. Why on earth would you want to own a car 10 years from now? When you can access it at the blink of an eye, a self-driving car will come up and take you wherever you want to go at the price tens of times cheaper than if you had owned the car and just paid for the petrol to get to that place. And so all the car companies are going to crash in the end because their market will be like 90% reduced, because 10% of the cars circling the streets all the time can serve the entire need of the population in the city. So these are, massive consequences from this exponential technology that any entrepreneur who wants to grow their business needs to be aware of. Because instead of being disrupted by these trends, you could develop the companies that are actually disrupting and killing the existing industries. And so what I'm working on is, together with a spin-off from Singularity University, is to coach large companies about this and to help them transform and help them find, invest, partner with entrepreneurial companies that are threatening to disrupt them. And at the same time, trying to talk to people like you and infuse the entrepreneurial mindset so we actually can shift the world to more exponential, less impact in that sense, less material world that everyone has access to, an abundance of whatever they want. So that's the talk for now. Happy to answer any questions or get any rebuttals if anyone don't agree or yeah. Right, thank you.
Let's share for more.
Hi everyone. Sorry, wait, let me put my hair. Thank you. My name is Mo. That's my nickname. My real name is Mowfak, M-O-W-F-A-K. A friend of mine, she just asked me, she said, can you spell your name for me? I said, yeah, sure, M-O-W-F-A-K. And she goes, Mowfak. I said, no, call me Mo. It's better. Anyway, I grew up in LA. I'm in the education business. Actually, I started developing education titles back in the early, mid-90s, 90s. CD-ROM titles. Then, after that, we moved on to online educational titles. Back in 2004, I got this gig in Shanghai. Actually, I was called to teach visual communication at Raffles Design Institute. And since then, I've been here in Shanghai. My experience in Shanghai, of course you can tell, just love it. I don't want to leave Shanghai. One of the top beautiful cities I've ever been into. There's so much opportunities, and there's so much here to grow. Anyway, one of the challenges when I was teaching at the college is, especially when it comes to visual communication, we teach creativity. And this is, by the way, anyone here studied abroad or went to a foreign country to finish their education? Anyone here? Excellent. Wow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good. I was wondering about the difference of education between students who born and grow up in Chinese culture, I suppose going abroad and learning outside. The challenge that I had is how to teach creativity to local students. And to pinpoint it, actually, is I'm talking about abstract thinking. How you can bring that to your college students, where, in my understanding, they came from a ground where they were told what to do. But back where we taught, we were encouraged to come up with something new, think about something new, think out of the box, yeah? So this is the thing that I had the challenge with my students. But after 10 years, and especially after the Shanghai Expo, there's quite a few schools came from Europe and Asia, especially from Japan and Europe in specific, and the States, of course. And therefore, the mentality of thinking start changing in the creative business. Nowadays, you can see really cool art directors, Chinese art directors out there, very creative, very, very good in their production. And on the other token, the industry got much better. Of course, I'm talking about strictly about the creative industry in Shanghai. The industry got much better from the day I came here, 2004, till right now, 2017. So this is my experience in Shanghai and how I got to meet Mars, Friend of mine, kind of like a very good friend of mine, he goes, look, there's this company called GBC, and they want to have some volunteers. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So I walked in, we opened boxes, then where's the now? And now she goes, can you do photography? And I said, oh yeah, I taught photography. Then what you see in the background? Well, not all of it, most of it. Anyway, so that's basically then, today I was invited by Mars for this event, and he goes, Mo, can you do a speech? And that's when I was freaking out. I said, about what? But anyway, thank you guys.
Let's share from Rebecca.
Oh, thank you so much. I think now I'm just like drunk enough, can say something. Okay. Oh, yeah, first, thank you so much, and nice to meet you. I'm Rebecca, and I just came back from London. And well, actually, this is my kind of like first month in Shanghai. So why I came here? I think probably still like my passion. So what is my passion? Wow, my passion is like in fashion industry. So like all my experience, I may have to count from my university time. So at first I studied in Shanghai. So I got my bachelor degree in broadcasting, but later I got my master's degree in education, and later I went to US and I worked as a Chinese teacher in a university in Missouri called the University of Missouri. But later, after 1 year I worked there, I went to New York City and stayed there for several months. At that time, I discovered my passion in fashion. So like from that time, I got much more results from passion. And later, I went to London to do another work and got much more as well. So after that, I decided, oh, maybe I can do something in fashion and also like to have some event. So now I have my own studio called Her Bank. So that one cause very kind of like, I don't want to say feminist, I'm not. But also I want to know for as a girl, as a woman, I really want to like promote myself or maybe promote all the women because we can do a lot of things. So this is why we name our studio called Her Bank. And also we did several events in London. So at first we did a cross party in London, and later we invited some customers in London to go to Royal Escort. And now I'm doing another event. So next month in Beijing, we do like a race, a horse race. So I want to combine horse race with fashion part. So you know, in China, when all the people, all the visitors, they go to see some event, they don't dress up. So just like me now, like we say something really casual, but sometimes we need normal look, or we need formal look, and we have to know how to dress, how to be proper. Even now I'm not. Sorry. So sometimes I really think about this, and I want to maybe can use my small power to inspire much more people, and to do something together, and to be maybe fancy, to be stylish. This is what we are doing. And if you guys want to do some event in fashion or crossover with fashion and different kind or maybe lifestyle, please let me know because I really want to know much more results.
I mean, I don't have much of a story because actually Mars put me on the spot like 10 minutes ago and told me I should come here and have a speech. So it's not very interesting, but maybe. So I finished school at like 16 and failed all of my GCSEs. So I could not even get into university. So I tried so hard to get into university and ended up in China. Cut a long story short. And now I'm here. So I think living in China, a lot of foreigners can feel a bit maybe unmotivated due to the culture change and the change of environment, the change of food. So you end up eating like very unhealthy. Like I was eating like muffins from McDonald's like nearly every morning.
Starbucks as well.
Yeah, and Starbucks all the time. But like 3 or 4 months ago, I decided to change. Like I wanted to like really like push and change my lifestyle. And now like I work out like 5 or 6 times a week, at least like 7 or 8 hours a week. I go to the gym all the time, I eat salads and like I just improved my diet, you know, and actually like it's improved my motivation, it's improved my lifestyle, it's improved my productivity. Like I feel so much more motivated to start my own design agency. So I didn't introduce myself, but I'm a designer. I work for an eyewear company, and yeah, now I feel like I'm capable of that, you know. And I think making like small lifestyle changes to do with your health, like working out and like eating, is amazing. Like I was the most unhealthy person. I was drinking all the time, just having fun, and it like wasn't helping me. So now I've kind of changed that in 3 months, and now like my whole mindset, like I feel like a different person. And that's all I want to say, is that any like entrepreneur or anybody who's starting a business, if you start like improving your lifestyle, like really you can do so much more. And I don't work for any health or fitness company, because it sounds like I'm representing somebody right now, but I'm not. I'm just representing like health and fitness. Okay, goodbye.
One thing I want to say first before I start my talk, can we give applause to all the girls here? Because I think everybody mentioned that we all signed up like for the open mic less than an hour ago, right? But apparently there are more girls here than guys, so. Guys are too drunk or too shy to come up without too much preparation. Anyway, I spent the last hour did my best to get drunk. So I'm either gonna talk too much or don't really know what I'm gonna talk about. What is Doco.com? Doco.com is a platform to connect Apple using business and consumers directly. So yes, we target Apple users only. And if you don't if you don't use Apple iPhone or any Apple product, you can give none. Party is over. We want to. One thing I want to talk about tonight is about big data and AI. Does anybody know what big data is? Please raise your hand. Big data, 大数据. Come on. Nobody knows what big data is? Okay. The best thing I've ever heard about big data is like teenage sex. Everybody is talking about it, but nobody really knows what it is, or nobody really knows how to, what to do with it. That is big data. And AI, artificial intelligence, they usually work together. So they, WeChat, Facebook, Google, Baidu, all the big giant tech companies, they mine your data online, and then they analyze it, and then they digest it, and then they push you ads, push you music or whatever to promote it to you. I don't know. Have you ever experienced something like this? My friend, she went to France for holiday, and then for some reason she thought she lost her wedding ring during the vacation. And then she talked to one of her friends on WeChat, only one friend on WeChat, private chat. And then later on, she went on to like surfing went online, like to Baidu or anywhere. She just saw a lot of ads, like about diamonds, about rings. It's scary. So in the very near future, what we buy, what we consume, what we read, what we listen to, is gonna all be decided by machines. It's simply not humane. So that's what we are fighting against at Doco.com. And if you are a business owner and you want to fight this battle to compete against big brands, big companies, then you can come talk to me afterwards, and then we can help you to do that. I thought my talk was something.
Hi, smart people. I don't know why I signed up for this. I signed up for like 5 seconds ago. This is two-step. Everybody's sitting there. And this is very far from what I'm going to talk about. I am not an entrepreneur, but we have this project. It's a music festival. Everyone has been to a music festival, you know, MIDI or Taomei and Storm. Anything else? Concrete Grass.
Strawberry?
Yeah, Strawberry, which is Taomei.
Shalanaya.
Oh, shh. So we're doing this festival. It's a open air electronic festival, 3 days, 2 nights. The biggest selling point we would say is that people have to camp outdoor, and then we have music going on in the grass close to the lake, and we go on pretty late actually. Because most festivals close at 10, 11 p.m., but we go on until like 3, 4 a.m., which is very difficult to do in China. As most of you know, there's a lot of regulations. You can't do this, you can't do that. You have to like write this paper, you have to talk this guy in this department and all that. We do cooperate with local venue owners, and that's the way. I'm not going to go into details right now here, but we find a way to make this event work. And this year is our 5th year. It's not the kind of music that everybody listens to. I would say that we went through these difficulties. I know everybody has difficulties in their business, whatever you want to do, and we keep doing it. But then at some point you would think like, why am I doing this anyway? It's so difficult, like, fuck it. You know, you just want to go drop it. And when I think about the reason why I'm doing this, I think it's more about providing an option. It's very, very hippie festival, and if you go in the marketing branding way, you say that our dream is to bring the love to people, like without the country border, without the sexual differences, without age differences, and everybody come together as one. And then the best outcome you can ever have is like everybody just be so happy that they don't want to make any changes. And that's what happens in 1984. A lot of you have read that book. So what we want to do, I think, is to provide an option. Like you can have this festival where people can have music in the nature and chill in the open air, which you don't really have here in the shopping malls and everything. So that's the reason to keep me doing this. And I think I had 3 points on my speech. I was counting, I had to get structured, so I should have point 1, point 2, point 3. Would you remind me? Oh, sorry, do I have a time limit?
You have 1 minute.
Yeah. The point 3 is about...
You have 2 minutes.
I'm so nervous. What's the point 3? So, sorry? The middle goal?
Is it Shalanaya?
Oh, right.
Or you can send us an email later.
We're not trying to make, because festival, it could be a culture thing, it could be business. Because entertainment is a pure business, you make money out of it. And we're not trying to change people's mind, and we're not trying to like bring this whole ideology and put it on Chinese people. This is going too far.